This is a review that's actually a very long time coming. I've had this device here for a full month. You get your typical reviewers on YouTube where like the review has to be out right away because it's a race for the algorithm. That's all they care about. Get the review out right away. It doesn't really matter. There's no long-term, like how was this product to use long-term? It's just like, let's get that first click. And I guess that's fine, that's what they do. I decided to go the opposite route and I had this very fast. I actually ordered it the day it came out and they got this thing to me within actually it was like 4 days or something, which is crazy, maybe 5 days. It was under a week, we'll put it that way, which is very impressive. But rather than just rushing the review, I've been using this product for a month almost at this point. So this is the OneXPlayer Super V. They had the Super X, which I actually had at the same time as this, right? As I was wrapping up my Super X review, I got this, and I'm putting out this one first because there's less reviews of this. And I decided to use this just long term. So what is it? It's a tablet, as you can see here, right? This keyboard actually comes off, and you end up here with a Windows tablet. See that there? That's cool. Windows tablet, very nice. Pop-out keyboard, kind of a Windows tablet, traditional Windows tablet. All metal chassis, very nice. Keyboard can attach to it. Your traditional tablet-y type stuff. This is cool though because it has a Panther-like chip in it. And it's not just any Panther-like because there's a bunch of them. This one here has the Panther-like chip that comes with the B390 iGPU. This is not the first device that I've used with the B390. I've actually already experienced it in a couple devices. So I already had some experience with it, and so that basically told me, oh, this thing's really good, like really good. So the moment this went ready to be ordered, I ordered it. Okay, so here it is here. It's obviously sold out because it's very popular and I can see that. When I first got it, it wasn't sold out. Obviously, I bought mine, of course, because I buy these devices. It looks expensive, but for what it is a good price. Panther-like devices, laptops and that are starting at this price, and they usually do not have the specs that this thing has. It's obviously a 2-in-1 type product, a true tablet, so like a Microsoft Surface price, but like 50 times better. So let's look at it. So it does have the Intel, Panther-like stuff. So it is pushed as an AI device, and it does have the RAM to back it up. So if you're a big AI guy, big AI girl, it's going to be able to do that. There's a lot of specs here in terms of the iGPU, all this kind of stuff here. I do want to show you some more of the internals. You can see in here, you do get a 2280 type NVMe. You get vapor chamber cooling in here, very nice, and dual fan. So the fact that this chip that this uses is very low wattage, very efficient, the cooling here is quite nice. This is a very important feature here. We do get a micro SD card. That's obviously nice. You'd expect that. 2280 full-size NVMe. You'd hope and expect that. But you get the ByWin mini SSD. This is a tiny little card, not much bigger than an SD card, but it offers SSD performance. I have a full review of this actual thing here. I've shown it off on my channel. I think I was the first to ever show it. I don't know if anyone else has shown it, but I was the first to show it off regardless, and I've been using it ever since. These are incredible little chips here. So let's just quickly look at the vital statistics, the vital stats here. So processor, this is the chip that I want to have, the Intel Intel Core Ultra X7 358. That's a mouthful. This chip here is going to offer Arrow Lake type CPU performance, which is where I want to be at. Very good. That's exactly what I want. And then what it does have is the Intel B390 iGPU. It's second only to what you get the Strix Halo 8060S, but the Strix Halo 8060S and the 395 require massive amounts of power, like watts. Therefore, heat and low efficiency to get good performance. This thing can match AMD at middling watts, and it crushes AMD at low watts. It can't compete with AMD at peak watts, but it's a tablet. I don't want that. You get, your performance there. You get a high-speed RAM, 8533 quad-channel RAM, obviously not upgradable, but that's going to feed the AGPU more effectively. And very important here is the screen. It's a giant tablet, so you'd expect it to have a very good screen. We do end up here with a 14-inch AMOLED display. Obviously, it's very high resolution, 1800p. That's going to be perfect for creative and professional type tasks, very high pixel density. Going to be harder to drive for gaming. This chip can drive 1800p, absolutely, because it is offering, RTX 4050 like performance, but in the most demanding AAA titles, you'll be using scaling. Just be aware of that, but you can also just decrease it to 1200p or something like that. It'll be fine. And it does come with 120 hertz and VRR, which are going to be really good for gaming tasks, but even for just day-to-day stuff, 120 hertz is really nice. Of course, it is very bright for an OLED, 500 nits, and you get obviously very good color space, 100% DCI-P3. So let's jump in. Oh, and it also has a massive battery. So the fact that it has a massive battery with a Panther-like chip means all-day battery. You'll see in this review. Okay, and here it is, the Super V. I'm going to act like I am looking at it for the first time. I've been using it for a month though, so that's a lie. I didn't want to rush this one. I ordered it the day that it went live. and it came very fast. And rather than just being like, okay, I got this video out and trying to like be the algorithm king, I decided let's actually use it because this is a very interesting product. This is the type of product where someone would want the reviewer to use it for a month and give you real feedback rather than being like, this is a showcase type thing. But I think for anyone who's used, you know, tablet type PCs, it's going to feel comfortable. If you've used like a Microsoft Surface Pro, something like that, it's going to feel comfortable. Okay, so we'll leave the screen on just like that. And you can see there it is a glossy screen, obviously. Glossy touch screen, very nice. Metal chassis, so this is metal. Now there, I have to be careful I don't like do something weird because it is touchscreen. Fingerprints there, I didn't wipe them because I want to show you guys. That's after like a month of use. You know, you guys have probably seen, you've probably seen this in some of their videos. I've done some testing and stuff, like game testing and that kind of stuff. So you've seen this, but it's just, it wasn't part of a dedicated review yet. But you can see how easy it is to wipe that down. It's like a super dark gunmetal, like black, but it's like metallic. So it's very easy to get the fingerprints off. There's the intake fans there. Exhaust out 1, 2. So there's dedicated for each. Very nice. Super V there, looks beautiful. So it does feel very robust. That stand feels fantastic. Those hinges feel great. Again, I'm using this. It hasn't been a pure daily driver. I have my primary laptop, but I'm using it a lot, to be honest, just to get a feel for it. So that's nice. Again, all metal, refined look. Okay, so it's a tablet, but it's like not an Android type tablet. It's a Windows type tablet. It's going to have way more I/O, right? Way more stuff there going on. So you have your connector down here for the keyboard as well. Magnetic, it does snap in. So those are where the kind of latches in, and there's a magnetic side of it as well. So you get physical and magnetic. Speaker 1, speaker 2. That is the slot for the ByWin Mini SSD, or any brand, but in this case, this is the ByWin Mini SSD. I think they might have patented it, which is not an SD card, it's an SSD. I have a full video on it. I'll put it in the link in the video description, testing it out, doing all that kind of stuff. They're fantastic. They're actually SSDs. Like an NVMe SSD, it gives you Gen 3 speeds, 3,000 megabytes a second, very fast. So that's sweet. That's a huge selling feature for me. And then over here, we do have the headphone, and then we have a standard SD card. So you can get a lot of expansion, right? Of course, you can open this up and put in a bigger NVMe, of course, but you can get another SSD, not an SD, an SSD and an SD. So you can do lots. Very nice. Flip side over here. It says turbo, but that's the actual button for the One X console. Very important. Volume down, volume up. HDMI out is awesome. This is a little tablet, but it has a dedicated HDMI out, so you can use this as like a desktop. One of my videos, I tested it and I put it out to an external screen because it was just easier to record. I can't remember. Uses power for USB-C, 2 USB-C. One will be power, one will be data. They're USB 4 capable, so you're going to be able to run stuff like docs off of it. You know, it's a small tablet, but you can expand it a lot with things like this. Like you can run USB 4 dock, extra displays, all that kind of stuff. USB 4 enclosure, NVMe enclosure, that kind of stuff. USB-A as well. USB is huge because you can hook up dongles and that kind of stuff. This keyboard, right? Pretty rigid. You don't want to like break it, but it feels pretty rigid. It's got this leather, simulated leather bottom. Very nice. Again, I'm used to this setup because I use the One X Pro, the tablet type thing, for actually almost I think it was 1 year, and I did also like a semi-month challenge. I think it was 1 month full challenge where I did no laptop, no desktop, no handheld. It was only the One X Pro, and I was fine with it. This is much bigger, as you can see here. So that's good. So you can obviously use it as a tablet, and then you can just go like that. This also works to protect it. So see that there? It also sleeps it because it's got magnets. And you can see that can come down flat on the desk, or you can snap it up. Down, up. Very good. Okay, so that's great. That's the device. That's the review. No, there's more to the review. Okay, so let's come in here. We'll go over keyboard, trackpad, screen, audio, all that kind of stuff, CPU benchmarks, battery, all that kind of stuff, and we'll do some gaming. I'll also talk about the ergonomics. Now, the only negative I would say about this form factor, like a tablet type form factor, there's one negative, and that is, if you're sitting on a couch like a potato, right? It does have, this is sitting on your thigh, so you have 1 and 2 on your thigh, versus a laptop where the whole flat thing is sitting on your thighs. So this is sitting on your thigh, popping up the screen. So this is where the weight is, whereas on a tablet the weight is back here, and this is just kind of floppy. It's not like this becomes hard to type on, but the weight is back here now. It just feels a little different. So typically what I do, like you can get like a laptop typing thing, which you should probably get anyways. And then when this sits on your lap, it feels fantastic. on a desk, all that kind of stuff, this is actually easier to maneuver than a laptop because again, all of the weight portion of it is here. Like you can, for example, you can take this off, for example, right? You can detach that, and now the footprint of the whole device is tiny, right? That's the footprint there. Whereas a laptop, the footprint is always going to be big. Let's pretend this is a laptop. Pretend this is a laptop, you know, that's the laptop footprint, the whole thing. Whereas with the tablet, right, technically the footprint is only there. Just like this, the you could take this off, you could use a tiny Bluetooth, if you're on a plane, if you're gaming like that, plain tray table, take that off, tiny. So this is, you know, you don't want that, you just take it off, set that on your tray, and you're gaming. That's one of the advantages of tablets. Tablets are sweet, right? They have an absolute advantage over a laptop in terms of versatility. Okay, now about the like carry or the wield, is that the term? What's the daily wield of this or the daily carry? I mean, obviously it's very portable because it's a tablet, right? So you close that up. It's a thin little thing, right? Like a 14-inch segment, even a 14-inch segment laptop would be thicker because you'd have the screen and you'd have, you know, the laptop keyboard being a little bit thicker. There are laptops that would, there are a few that would be thinner than this, but we're talking like a real Ultrabook, like a really thin laptop. This is, you know, quite thin. Of course, if you get rid of that, then it's extremely thin because it's a tablet. Right, so the wield is quite good. It's also not very heavy. It's not super light because it's also got a lot of cooling. Like it's a OneXPlayer, right? OneXPlayer is not some like punk ass brand where they're like, we just make it look nice. No, they're performance focused. Like they do want all the fixins to be premium, all that kind of stuff, but they are very focused on performance. Like they make gaming devices, so they're not going to make some, you know, light thing that doesn't have enough cooling. You know, plastic chassis. This is a metal chassis with tons of cooling in it, so it's going to be a little bit of weight. But it's not super heavy, right? So it'll come in here, right? We'll just call it like 1,700 grams, right? So you're a little over 3 pounds, right? 3.3 pounds. It's not the lightest thing in the world, but again, it's a gaming tablet. Even though it's kind of everything, it's also good with whatever. Now, it does use USB-C charging, so you can use any GAN charger. So if you just have a small, here's one. This is like a 100-watt little GAN charger. And this thing is totally fine with 100 watts, just so you know. Like, it's a Panther, like it's very efficient. So you could just, you know, take one of these with you, just the little thing. I think these things even come smaller these days. They're becoming more and more and more compact. This is the official charger though. It's a little bit, I'm gonna plug it in a minute. And you know, it's again, not the biggest thing. It's not super heavy, just a GAN charger, right? No problems there, nothing weird about it. Just does the trick. Not super heavy either. Just does the trick. Again, it's not a big monster. So let's put this on here. We'll get the whole wield. It's a pretty thick cable, actually. It's a pretty thick cable. So, you know, you're looking at a little over 4 pounds for everything, right? But again, that's the big boy charger. And you can also, you know, you just take something like this. If you want to really minimize your carry, like that. This is just, I don't even know what brand this is, just some whatever random thing. So that's good. And the you know, the wield of it is quite nice. Now on that, if you talk about the robustness of it, it feels good in the hand. This thing is rock solid. It's metal solid. It feels very, there's absolutely no body flex, right? Don't smash it, but there's no flex on it. It feels fantastic in the hand. Obviously, that's a tablet. Okay, so that's that there. Now, as a tablet, how are the features? We'll have the touchscreen. The touchscreen, I don't have to touch it under the touchscreen section of the video. Let's do it now because it's an input. Touchscreen is responsive, right? Feels nice and smooth. It's a touchscreen, and it's a nice touchscreen, right? Like it is what it is. No problems there. Snap that up. We have the trackpad. Now I used the One X Pro, which was really small. Like it was actually quite small, and I had no problems with it. But it was a little small. Obviously, it was a little handheld, like a little gaming handheld thing. This is much bigger. Go over there. Let's see how long it takes to get across. Right? It's perfect. And if you're in the middle. Right. Very nice. So it feels good. That's nice. It's very smooth as well. This has I don't know what this texture is, like a laminate, vinyl type texture. I don't know how to describe it, like a mock leather type thing. And then this is very smooth. Now the click is also very sharp, which I like. And we'll go across. That's the right click. Now the input to the trackpad, or to the keyboard. Now it's a tablet keyboard. Now tablet keyboards, of course, feel a little bit different than your traditional, you know, like standard keyboard on a laptop because it's a tablet, right? Like this is not sitting flat. You can make it flat. Typically they're going to be shallower overall, and it's just a little different because, you know, this is not the laptop chassis. This is just a keyboard. The beef of the material of the machine is in there, right? So it feels a little different. So when you're typing, we can come in here. Let's get that so it's actually like flat. We'll come in here, we'll do a little type. I don't think I ever don't get a typo when I'm filming because I'm always reaching around. It's like the first time I haven't got a typo. So obviously it's very good to type on. These keys, despite the fact that this is a tablet, right? The actual physical keycaps are small. They're short, low profile, but there's good travel. See that? Good travel. Stability is good, right? I can push on any corner and it goes down. See? It goes down. Interesting. Good travel, so it feels nice and snappy. All that's really, really good. Now, the other thing is, even when it's raised up like this, it does feel good. By the way, it also does have light. It's not super bright, but it's enough, especially when it's dark. You know, it's just enough. I personally don't want really bright. Like in the day, I don't want to see it. If it's dark out, I don't want this to burn my retinas. It bothers me. But that's just enough that if I turn off the lights, it's going to be perfect for typing. Now, even when it's raised up like this, it feels firm. It feels, is firm the right term? It feels structurally sound. Is that what I want to say? It feels robust, like it's not going to bend, break. Now, I'm not a heavy pom, 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 pom. Some people are like that. I am not. I'm a fairly light typer. So that's good. Now you can, of course, slap it down, which brings it a little bit closer to you as well. And then it's flat on the desk, right? We'll do a quick type. Here, the laptop hinge is basically just floating. It's just a different setup, right? So there's no weight on that there. All the meat is down here, whereas here it's the opposite. All the meat is up here, and this is the floaty thing. So it just feels a little different. Just be aware of that if you care. Some people may prefer that. Some people may prefer the other way. Some people don't care. Me, I don't care. It makes no difference. So that's that there. Okay, so that's the input there so far. It's very good, right? No problems whatsoever. It's very nice to type on. Very nice input. It feels great. Touchscreens, very good. Now, on the note of screen, we'll go into the screen and audio. This thing has a crazy good screen. So, 1800p, we'll zoom in. 1800p is it's very fine resolution for a 14-inch category. Even at a 16-inch, it's very fine. So even above that, to be honest. 120 hertz or 60. If you want better battery, you go 60. If you don't care, then you can go with 120. Just whatever, max it out. That's nice. It's just, generally speaking, a very nice screen. Right, come over here. Dynamic refresh rate. I don't know why they didn't have that turned on. It'll basically switch up when it needs to. Very good. Variable refresh rate is supported, VRR, very good for gaming. So anyways, that's the OLED blacks. Obviously, they're going to be very good. The other thing is, this is a high color space screen. So it's 100% DCI-P3 color space, high color space. And what that means is that you're going to get very, very vibrant reds. The reds are pushed in. So when you get a low color space screen, even 100% sRGB, the reds are not going to be adequately represented. You kind of get like an orangey tinge, even sometimes into the pink, where you have even sRGB a little bit too light, but not quite that royal red. But it's typically not bad with sRGB. I won't complain. With NTSC screens, obviously it's very bad. With here, 100% DCI-P3, you're going to push way into those reds. You're going to get very saturated reds. Whether they're oversaturated or not, I mean, they potentially are, but when it comes to content consumption, games, and shows, it's amazing. The other thing with this color space is you end up getting very beautiful greens as well. 100% DCI-P3 does massively increase the greens. It can sometimes make them very vibrant, potentially more than would be desired if you're doing like graphic design for like websites and that, because it's really emphasizing those colors. But don't get me wrong, I love a DCI-P3 screen and I use it because when it comes to playing games, watching shows, watching movies, it's hard to beat. Like even here, let's just go back. I mean, here we have the benefit of OLED. So we get these absolute blacks here. These look like it's obvious that that's a dark cave. It pulls you in. These are dark, absolute blacks. Then you get those beautiful, beautiful greens off of that high color space. It's just a beautiful scene, right? It's a I mean, it makes sense that it's a killer screen. It's a massive tablet. It's a massive screen, right? It's not a laptop where, there's other things going on. This is a tablet. And yeah, it's a full Windows PC and yada, yada, yada. It's just amazing machine. But when it comes down to it, it still is a tablet, right? And tablets, generally speaking, you had better have a damn good screen on a tablet, and it does. It delivers everything. It's so crisp as well because it's an 1800p screen. It's so crisp at this 14-inch segment. It's incredibly sharp. So, I mean, it truly is a 10 out of 10 screen. There is no way to make the screen better, right? Now, audio on this thing is pretty impressive, to be honest. Audio on this thing is pretty impressive. It gets really loud. I'm not actually going to do like a full volume test because this thing is crazy. What I'm going to do is focus on the richness of that. So one of the nice things, I mean, you can use the Windows volume type stuff. You can use this here, like volume up, volume down, that kind of stuff. But you also just have dedicated volume tabs over here, just like any normal tablet. So it's really sweet, to be honest. You can just go me. I don't have to come in and mess with that kind of stuff. So we'll come in here and we'll do a little audio test. It does get very loud. So if you have headphones, watch them now. Usually tablets, you would hope they have good audio because, again, they focus on the multimedia. This one is crazy, so just hold on. This is like way down, by the way. We're at 36. Even at 60, it's loud. Turn it down. It's pretty loud. Just gonna turn it down because it's like right in front of me and it's super loud. Now see what I'm doing here? Now this might pick up or may not. I'm gonna go like this. So the audio is very good. It's very rich. It doesn't have the highest amount of low-end bass, but again, it's a tablet. It's tough to get super high amounts of low-end bass on a tablet. There's just a lot packed into this tiny little package here. But they do a good job with the low end. Mid-range is very rich, and the high end is very rich. So it's generally a good listening experience, just not huge, big thumpers. That kind of makes sense, obviously, right? The only negative, I would say, honestly, the only negative is they are tablet speakers. So there's nowhere for them to fire at you through the screen. Doesn't make sense. So like any tablet, generally speaking, they're non-directional. So they're going to fire out that way and that way. So they do fill the room very well. You do get stereo, left and right, so you can hear them in stereo, obviously, and it does fill the room very well. The only negative is they're not coming right into your ears. So again, it does fill the room very well, but the perceived volume in your ear is not as much as if, for example, I went like that and I cupped it. It doesn't change the sound, or it doesn't get better. It just sounds louder because it goes right into my ear, right up into my ear. Again, it doesn't matter. I'm just pointing it out to you guys. It's just something to be aware of. If any tablet, that's different than, for example, like laptops where, the body might have speakers coming up or bouncing down and coming back up. Here, they're firing out to the side, like any tablet. If you do want to put in a larger NVMe in this thing here, just be aware you are going to want to re-download the One console, which you can get from their website or off Discord. They have a Discord server. I'm on there a lot, actually. I'm not involved with it, but I am on there a lot. And the One console is this here. So you press that button there, which is the turbo button. So press that. This pops up. You can also just click on it. This is your One console. This is critically important software. You have to have this on here. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose. It's also very good software. This is not like bloat where you're like, I don't want that on here. This is like, it's fantastic. One of the reasons I buy One products is because of this. So if your TGP slider, and it works so good, TGP slider, holy smokes. In this case, it's a CPU. So this gives you, what is the power that's going to go to that chip. Yes, it can do 65 watts. It doesn't need to use 65 watts, just so you know, but it can do that. It's a very efficient chip, and you can do that. And you can do it. You've seen some of my videos on this thing and other OneXPlayer products. You can do it like live in a game, and it will just immediately affect. It's very good, right? It's not going to use 60 if you don't need it. Like, I'm not using 60 watts now. I'm still using nothing. But, it will allow, that's the peak. That's the peak watts, put it that way. Fan can be automatic, preset 1, preset 2. I just leave it on automatic because, like, right now the fan is off. I've been using the laptop and going on YouTube, doing part of this video, there is literally zero sound from this machine. The fan is not on, so it has dead silent mode. You can change some of the RGB stuff in here. You can change performance overlays, turbo, CPU turbo. You can turn it off, turn it on, your choice, play around with it. Brightness and your volume. Let's actually turn it down, it can be pretty loud. That's that. So the most important thing here is the TGB slider. So in hardware, you can come in here, you can check out your stats. On an AMD machine, this is where you would set VRAM, virtual memory. So where you're taking how much memory is coming from the system, going into the iGPU. In this system, it's done from Intel. So you can come in here, Intel. Okay, come in here, Intel graphics software. A little different than AMD. This is another piece of very important software. This is, you can update your drivers from here, you can leave it. You can see here, we have the B390, the incredible iGPU from Intel. Just such a massive thing. 27 gigabytes of VRAM, 27 gigabytes shared. So I guess I gave it 27 gigabytes probably at some point. Come over here, some basic stuff in here. I don't want to about that right now. Graphics, you can do updates in here. I just download them personally. That's fine. You can set a memory override. So you can come in here and be like, no, I want to tell you exactly how much memory. Take it. So, you know, if you load up a game, if you watch my recent reviews where I tested stuff like, let's say Forza Horizon 6, you turn up the graphics settings too high, the virtual memory gets eaten up, and all of a sudden the game looks like shit or it crashes. Here we don't have that problem because you can take up to 27 gigabytes. Like, this is a fast GPU in here, but it's not fast enough to utilize that much memory in gaming. Like, there is no GPU. Even a 5090, I don't think it could do it. So basically what I'm saying here is you have that allocated, but you can just leave it as automatic. You can manually set it. I could come in here and I could say 10 or 12. With this level of GPU, 16 gigabytes would be enough, to be honest. You could just do 16 gigabytes. That would be totally fine. The GPU would use 16 and you'd still have 32 gigabytes left over for your system for everything else, games and everything. So it'd be fine. If you're doing AI type stuff, you would turn that up or leave it automatic. Anyway, so that was a lot of preamble on the software. Yeah, super long segment on software, but I really wanted to talk about this product in that way. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to test performance and noise, CPU performance. Now, the Panther-like CPU here, it's not the most powerful CPU in the world, but it is crazy for a tablet. Intel is way ahead of AMD. Light years ahead of AMD right now. AMD does have the AMD 365 AI Max, these Strix Point, which is more powerful than this. It's like desktop level CPU. It uses crazy power to get there. And the GIA GPU is more powerful, but again, uses crazy power to get there. This makes sense in a tablet more than the Super X, in my opinion. Super X is still great. I've already reviewed it, but this is, you know, that sweet spot of efficiency. So you're getting the same CPU performance as Arrow Lake H, like a 285H, 255H, which if you watch my reviews for the past year, I'm constantly being like, that's so good. But you also then get some of the other benefits as well that go beyond that. But let's just test the CPU performance. So we'll come in here and we will open up that. We're going to bring this performance all the way up. We can, it's so nice to have this because you can like set up every little bit. Whereas typically when I test laptops and that kind of stuff, there's like 1 or 2 performance modes. And it's like, let's see what it gives us. So we'll come in here and we'll run that. And if we come down here, you know, it's not running hot, obviously. Watts here. Watch that go up. Now, I have had people ask me, can it do 65? Is it locked to 55? Well, no, it can do more. It only goes up for a moment, like 62, 63, but it does more than 50 or whatever they were saying, 45 or 50 or something like that. Right? This is a full wattage Panther like CPU, put it that way. So the fans will get a little louder. It's a tablet running 65 watts, right? Just like any other tablet. I mean, you have limited cooling in here. This thing does have like a pretty robust cooling system, but it's a tablet. So, you know, just be aware. But we're maintaining here. It'll get a little warm under full load, obviously at full watts, and therefore it'll get a little louder. Still quieter than my gaming laptop. 47, full load. My laptop, it gets around 50. Now this performance isn't going to be, because we have this open here, but this is like Arrow Lake, right? 19,000 out of a freaking tablet. That's crazy. My gaming laptop, my Lenovo Legion gaming laptop with an RTX 5070 only gets like 16,000, right? That's a gaming laptop with like crazy good cooling, all that kind of stuff. It's below this. So just be aware, that's very fast. You may look at this, you don't know what that compares to. That's very fast. We'll put it that way. This is upper level. Like, it's not going to beat out an Intel HX chip, like the, the two, like here, this mini PC right here. This is a good example. This has a 285 HX, which is a mobile chip. It's in a mini PC, but it's a mobile chip, and that's desktop level. So it'll give you 35,000 here, but it's a desktop level. It's running at 150 watts. This is running at 65 watts. And here's the thing. Okay, so the first run there, 18,000, 19,000, it's crazy for a tablet. You can see that the temperatures come down right away because the watts came down. Look how fast those watts came down. That's the other thing about these Intel chips. Back in the day with 13th gen, 14th gen, 12th gen, that kind of stuff on Intel, you would do something and the watts would spin up, as per usual for Cinebench, and then you'd stop the thing and it would take forever for those watts to come down. You'd be sitting here for like a minute and it would be like, all right, we're coming down. Eventually it would get down, but it would take freaking forever. Right? Here we don't have that. It immediately is like 5 watts. Right? And this will idle lower. It's just that there's still stuff going on in the system. So what we'll do here is we'll come play with the watts. I'm going to let it cool right off. So 65 watts gives you your peak, peak performance, because that's as high as it can go. Let's come down though. Let's just give it 45 watts. We could do this. I'm not going to do every interval. What does 51 do and 52? We'll just go 45. And we'll see how noisy it is and what kind of performance we get. Okay, so we'll just do a 50, what did I say? 45. Forget, it's late. It's not that late, but I've been up since like 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, let's come in here. I decided, I was like, you know what, let's just publish this freaking review. I've had this for a month. I've just been playing with it. It gets to that point where like, I just keep playing with it. And eventually you got to put out the video. I have my opinion of it already has been formulated in my brain. I just need to record and show you guys some of the objective stuff. So 45 is obviously a lot quieter. Still a lot of watts for a tablet, so the fans are going. But now we're looking at like Ultrabook running at full load. Not with a super powerful CPU. 4243. It's not throttling anymore. Now, I'm not exactly sure what each interval of this performance will be, but it'll be good. Look at that. So it went down, but we're still at 17,000. And what did we chop off? 20 watts? Okay, let's do it again. So we'll come in here. We'll go even further. I'm not gonna do every single interval. So let's just go all the way down to 35. 35 is what, like handhelds, like gaming handhelds, most of the ones on the market, the standard ones, that's what they can do. So let's do another shot at that in a sec. Okay, so now we'll run at lower, so we'll go 35. Just gave it a minute for the fans to turn off completely. Again, it doesn't run fans on idle. And you can see there, 35 watts, obviously. So the console does work, obviously. Okay, so even at these much lower watts, the performance is still very good, right? We're still at 15,000 now, so we are dropping in performance, but this is still very fast. This is about as fast as my laptop can get, period. It's a gaming laptop. It's way quieter. Okay, so we'll do this little bit of a run now at 25 watts. I didn't let it cool all the way down, I just jumped right into it, to be honest. So it's now getting very quiet. My noise floor is about 33. I can hear the laptop, obviously, the tablet. The mic might make it more exaggerated, but it's very quiet. I can hear that the laptop, the fans are going, the tablet fans, but it's not loud by any means. So this is a pretty big drop. I mean, 25 watts is not a lot of watts, but whoop, look at that. It's still very high. 12,000, 13,000, 25 watts is nothing. So let's go down even more. Now we're going to start getting into, now it'll start to be like, all right, we're pretty low in watts here. All right, so even with a pathetic amount of watts, 15 watts, 9,349. That may not seem like a lot, but that's crazy for this kind of watts, like actually crazy. I think it's only all about games. I mean, OneXPlayer is a gaming company, I guess I'd say, because they do focus on very good, high quality gaming handhelds, gaming products, but they can do a lot more. This thing is going to be very quick for video editing. Why? Well, because Panther Lake is very fast. I've been using Arrow Lake. When the ThinkBook 14 Plus 2025 came out, like a little over a year ago, I bought it, and I use it as a daily driver for like 9 months, something like that. And this has the same raw CPU performance as that, but of course it has a much more powerful iGPU. What does that mean? When you do things like this, you put in a 4K 60 video that's, a gigabyte. No, 4K 60 video, 26-minute video, 4K 60, bring that in here, right? We're immediately, let's go like that. We're scrubbing through instantly. It's so fast that it doesn't have to, fully process the audio, fully process the file. You can immediately start editing, right? If you don't have this caliber of CPU, you can't do this. Right? You have to wait for that to process. You can't come in here and start doing snappy work. Now, I'm also using the mouse, by the way. I've had a viewer, one of you guys, I can't remember the name, I'm sorry, but one of you guys has asked me and said, you've heard that this thing has Bluetooth interference. This is Bluetooth. As you can see, I don't have any dongles plugged in. This is running on Bluetooth, and I've had no interference issues whatsoever. He doesn't have it. He's just curious about Bluetooth interference. There's none, at least not that I've noticed. And so, right, I'm using this Bluetooth device here, and I've noticed no signal degradation. It's nice and snappy. Everything's good. So just for that Bluetooth specific comment, no, there's no problems with that. Maybe someone else cares as well. But anyways, so you can see there, like while I was rambling, this is all processed. This is fast, right? There's no like latency or anything like that. Like it doesn't feel laggy. It feels just as snappy as my powerful gaming desktop, right? This has a very powerful iGPU, and the very powerful iGPU is not just for gaming. It can also be used for professional work. That's why people buy Intel Arc GPUs, to put them in their computer for video specifically. And maybe they have a big gaming system, right? And they're like, but they also have an Intel GPU in their system. This is not fantasy I'm talking about. This is a fact. Now, this will not be as fast as a desktop GPU, because it's a it's a mobile chip with an iGPU, but it's going to be fast. Put it here, so we'll see how fast it's going to go. What's the wattage here? Let's turn that up. I was doing video editing 15 watts. Well, it would be faster if I didn't have it at 15 freaking watts that whole time. So, all right, I just reinforced what I was saying. That was at 15 watts and it felt super snappy. Imagine if I doubled the performance by turning up the watts. Okay, so it's done. Now, I will tell you this. This is the fastest iGPU I've ever used. It's the second time that I've used a Panther Lake, and I've done this with the Panther Lake iGPU, B390. It's the fastest iGPU I've ever used. What am I saying? So, a dedicated GPU, like let's say a 5070, my 5070 laptop is faster, for sure. A 10-minute video would probably be 2 minutes? Probably about 2 minutes. Something like that. Maybe 3. Something like that. That's approximately how it goes. I typically find that if I had a 10-minute video, it would run it in about a quarter of that length, approximately. Typically with an iGPU, go back and watch my videos. Just go through my channel. Watch my iGPU videos. Typically, if I were doing a 9.5 to 10 minute video, the export would be about 8 minutes. Sometimes it's 1-to-1, so a 10-minute video takes 10 minutes to encode, which is actually not bad on a good iGPU from a different good iGPU. It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad at all. Like you do an 8 to 13 minute render. The most common YouTube length now video is like 8 to 13 minutes, so it's going to take you 4 minutes. That's very fast, right? If you do 13 minutes, it'll take 7 minutes. It's quick, right? Yes, it's not as fast as my laptop. My laptop would do it in about half of that time, but my laptop also uses 100 watt to 115 watt 5070, and the CPU is also running at the same time, so it's running at massively higher watts. It's much more, even with that, you're looking at dedicated graphics. It's a totally different type of thing. This is an iGPU with that kind of speed. If you know, then you know. Right? You can look at this. This program may not be indicative of the program you use. Right? It's not going to transfer across, but I can tell you that is very fast. Okay, so we are going to do some game testing. Now, I've already actually tested this game. There's a whole video on it. You can watch that. But what I want to do here is I want to show you some wattage scaling. Show what this thing can do. Now we have this is running really well, by the way, on here with 1800p. That's not 1080p, that's not 1200p, that's not 1440p, that's not 1600p, that's 1800p. It's higher than all of those. It's very good. Now we do have a little bit of scaling on, just balance though, and XeSS looks fantastic. It looks way better than FSR 3.1.5, and it actually gives a performance boost on Intel. So not only does it look better, it performs better. Now you can use XeSS on AMD. I've already done it, I've shown it, I use it all the time, I've done videos on it, and it looks better than FSR 3. However, if you use XeSS on Intel, not only does it look better, just like I already said, but you also get a performance boost. You get both. So you kind of double dip. That's really sweet. So you might as well use it, honestly, especially at these high resolutions. Now, as I said, very high. We're actually at medium preset here. So let's just do a quick little shot through here. So medium 1800p with scaling, but still, it's crazy. It's crazy that you can do this on this thing. And 77 FPS, like, get the F out of here. This is DGPU performance. I've tested all these DGPUs. This is DGPU performance. That's what we're getting here. It's very good. Okay. The car's all smashed up for some reason. So what we'll do is we'll just sit here for a second. Just sit here. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the settings, the wattage settings. So we can see here we're at 75 approximately. It's changing the radio. No difference, right? 55 is peak performance. Going up to 65 will give you more CPU performance, but there's no extra GPU for performance. So 55 is fine for max, for absolute peak. Now we're down to 50. You kind of lost one. So I guess technically 55 watts is peak performance, but even so, you don't need it, right? So 50 is really, really, really high up there. It's also a lot quieter. Come down to 45. Have we lost our frame? I'm not even sure. Right? It's running really well. Right? At 45 watts. You get a dedicated system, you're going to be running like, you know, a 20 to 30, maybe even 35 watt CPU, and you're going to be running a DGPU running at 50, 60 watts, something like that on top of that. So you're like double this. Let's go down to 40. We did lose a few frames now. So in this game, not every game's gonna be the same. Some are more CPU, some are more GPU heavy. In this game, it's, you know, it's a bit more GPU heavy than anything. So you can see here, you're getting excellent performance at 40 watts. Excellent performance at 40 watts. Let's go down a little further. It'll start to drop down now, of course, but now we're down to 35 watts. Now ignore that, that's not right. You just go by this, it is correct. So we're only down we're down about 8 watts, 8 FPS, and we've went from 65 down to 35. This is what you get on, like, you know, the gaming handhelds. The gaming handhelds, the traditional ones, you're going to get 35 peak. Let's go down further. 65. We're still above 60 at 30 watts. 1800p, medium, with some scaling, but still. 25. Still pushing 60 at 25 watts. Go down further. It'll stop dropping now. 20 is usually where you start to drop down. I mean, even so, right? We're still at 54 FPS at 20 watts. I put out the video just testing this game when it first came out, like day one. Actually, it was a couple days before launch. And people were like, the watt performance is crazy. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It is crazy. Look at that, 17 watts. We're still at 45 FPS. Let's go down to 15. That's as much as a Steam Deck can go. 45 watts. 45 FPS at 15 watts. Crazy. Let's go down to 10. 10 watts. Now we are at like 30, but it's 10 freaking watts. Right? And you can just put it up a touch there. So, you know, depending on the game, this is Forza at 1800p medium. Like, there's going to be a lot of games you're going to want to go a little bit higher. So 17 or 18 is kind of like a good super low wattage amount. Okay, so now let's just do a little bit of gameplay, some actual gameplay. So we can play with a couple different settings here now that we know the watts are good. So again, that's 1800p. It's pretty crazy. Even with balanced scaling, it's a bit much at these lower watts, but I mean, you can turn them up, right? So you can come back here and we're at 18 watts, right? So let's see where we can get ourselves up to 60. That's pretty crazy, to be honest. Like that's pretty crazy. 18 watts You're at 50 FPS. This guy smashed me behind. Let's go up to like 25. Like that's 25 watts, right? And you're at 60. So let's just play for a sec. So 25 watts and you're at 60 FPS is pretty impressive. Right, it's pretty damn good. Yeah, let's turn it up. So we'll come in here. Let's go up to high now. Again, we're at 1800p. That's crazy. 1800p, and we're at 25 watts. So let's put up to 30, which is like a more reasonable like handheld type thing. 30 watts is nothing. That's like low watt handhelds. 1800p on high. Like this is what I've been telling people. These Panther Lake GPUs are crazy. It's just light years ahead of, like I have like a Z2E Legion Go 2. This is light years ahead of that. It's not even comparable. That's fine. I mean, it does well in this game too, but this is just so far ahead. Also, it looks really good on the screen. It looks very crisp. So, okay. So now what we'll do, we can turn it up even higher, to be honest. We can go like this. Like you can go high and you can turn up some stuff. You could turn up like the car level of detail to ultra, car reflections up to ultra, something like that. Right, won't really affect the performance really at all. And we only have balanced scaling. You can actually turn it up because we're at 1800p, right? It's not going to look bad. It's XeSS. It'll look fantastic, even at higher amounts. All right, and that'll get your 60 again. It's pretty good, right? Now, let's go with a more reasonable resolution. Now, again, this is a 1800p screen, so you could go with 1600p and get more frames, but let's just try 1200p. Now, that will hit up the CPU quite a bit harder. That's okay. Like, the CPU usage will go up, but it's a good CPU, so it'll be fine. Now, we can leave those same settings, right? High, ultra, mix there. And we'll turn the scaling way down. I mean, we don't need any, to be honest. Not up to 1200p. So that's 1200p native. That guy just phased through me. 1200p native with an ultra high mix. It's crazy to think. Like, we're playing these games at ultra or 1200p, brand new game. And like the watts aren't cranked up. We could turn them up. We're at 30 watts, right? Like we have a lot of overhead if we want it. Right? I just want to show you the low wattage performance. You just turn it up if you want more. If you're not happy with 60, just add more watts. Now you're at 80. Right? This is crazy, to be honest. This is crazy. Let's go like this now. We're going to try one more thing. We're going to go high RT. So RT, ray tracing, on a tablet. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of Cyberpunk. Try 1600p here, which is very high resolution, but that's okay. And we'll go with, I don't know, like medium, maybe? 1600p medium, try that. Now we do have access to XeSS, so we can use quite a bit, to be honest. Try like balanced XeSS on medium to start. Oh wow, that's better than I thought. So medium, balanced, 1600p. Some scaling, of course, and this is Dogtown, which is very hard to run. You can get away with more XeSS too, because XeSS looks better than FSR. It doesn't have shimmer or anything like that. So I mean, you're going to get 60 here. That's actually not bad. At 1600p. You could also just decrease the resolution. That's pretty good. Let's just turn up a little bit more scaling. I didn't realize it would run that well. You can go with that. Yeah, just some more frames basically. I mean, it's, performance, you can just use balance, but performance is going to give you like above 60 pretty static. And you can see like even in the far distance, like fine lines, there's no shimmer. Right, that's important. The important fact is that there's not a lot of shimmer in the far distance, so it's going to run well. The nice thing, I mean, there are some games that don't have XeSS, like the new Capcom games, they don't have XeSS for some weird reason. So you're stuck with FSR, which is okay. But when you use XeSS, it looks better. You're going to get way less issues with like shimmer and that kind of stuff. So it's going to look better. It also does provide a performance boost as well on Intel hardware, like a hardware-specific boost. So you kind of get both of those benefits. So I don't need to do too much testing here, but I just wanted to test another game on top of Forza, like a slightly older game that people know about. And yeah, you're going to have no problems getting 60 FPS. Like, you know, most of the game is going to be more like this, like easier to run, you know, 80, 85. But even in the Dogtown dense area, where it's one of the hardest areas to run in the game, one of the most CPU intensive areas in any game that you can play, it's very CPU intensive. And this just goes to show that not only is the GPU up to the task, but the CPU is too, right? Because you're almost at 60 locked here. Very good. You could use frame gen to get yourself. Right up in this very demanding area up here. You're still above 60 even over here. Super, super demanding area. Tons of NPCs. Super CPU heavy area. And I just wanted to test this because I wanted to show a game, first of all, that people know. But I also want to test a game that's brutally CPU heavy. Because a lot of the time when you play on iGPUs, you know, you're hitting the CPU and the iGPU at the same time very hard. And it can cause problems with, you know, that's just not enough. And it's running really well here, right? Let's just quickly go down. I mean, we're at peak performance, peak watts basically, but let's just come down to like, I don't know, 40? What's that going to give us? Is that going to still give us 60? Yes, it is. It's actually well above 60, even at 40 watts. That seems suspect. Yeah, I mean, let's try that. 35 watts. So 35 watts is still above 60. Alright, so it's not like you need to run these things at super high wattages. Like, 35 watts is the same as any Windows handheld. And this is way higher settings, 1600p medium. This is not low Steam Deck settings, you know, that kind of crap. What happens if we go like a little bit lower? I don't want to go too low, but I just want to test one more thing, and let's just go down to like, I don't know. Let's go like 25, see how that runs. I feel like there's got to be a drop here. Even 25, wow. 25 watts is very respectable. Yeah, so regardless, I don't need to go too much more detail. It's going to run really well. I mean, we can wrap up the game testing part. Like, I mean, I've tested this thing for days. I don't need to just show a million games. We know roughly where the Panther Lake is just based on these benchmarks. Like, it's going to run very well. Okay, so now's the part where I get a little bit sassy. I've been reading online, people were talking about the Panther Lake chips being, oh, just a few percent, oh, 15 or 20% faster than the Z1E, the 780M. Well, no. This on the bottom right here is my Legion Go 2, the Lenovo Legion Go 2. Now this actually has a better chip than that. This has the Z2, not the Z2A, just the Z2. The Z2 does come with the 780M, the same iGPU, but it's more efficient. So it actually does perform better. I know this because I have a Z1E, I have a Z2, and I have a Z2E. I have all of them. So we can see here, this is a huge discrepancy in performance. On the bottom right here, we have 1200p, not 1600p. So much lower resolution. Both of them balanced XeSS. We also have low settings versus medium settings. So the Super V is not only at a much higher resolution, it's also at higher settings. Now this is higher watts, but that's okay. I just want to show kind of like peak-ish performance for both of them. And we can see here, I'm actually moving around on the Super V. So it's actually a harder scene. Whereas the Legion Go, I'm just kind of standing there, which actually makes it easier to run, to be honest. And here, despite the fact that we have a harder scene for the Super V, aka I'm moving around, which obviously is much more challenging, we also have a higher resolution and higher settings. we're looking at basically twice the performance. So 2 times the performance, that's a 100% performance improvement, but also at higher settings, much higher resolution and higher settings. So we're going from 30 FPS to 56, or actually 30 FPS to 62, so more than double. And we're going from 19 for the lows up to 40. So a quite literal 100% performance improvement, despite the fact that it is running at much, much, much higher settings. Okay, now I also went with like for like settings here. I actually put the Super V at lower watts than this Z2 with the 780M because I wanted to show how efficient this thing is. So this is 1600p versus 1200p again, same thing. Both of them using Performance XCSS. I was just like, we might as well use it. Again, medium and low settings. The Legion Go is at 35 watts. The Super V is at a mere 25 watts. And you can go lower if you want, but I've already shown that. And we're looking at 60 FPS on the Super V versus around 60 FPS with good lows, really good lows, 34 versus 26 on the Legion with lows of 8. This is really showing you the difference here. I mean, this is a very demanding game. That's why I used Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk does well on both AMD and Intel. This is not a favored title for either of them. It does well on both. It's well optimized for both. Well optimized for the Z1E, Z2 chip. And we can see here we're seeing, 4 times better lows. It goes from unplayable lows to very good lows. And the frame rate is more than double, right? This is more than 2 times the frames. 2 times the frames on average, and 4 times the frames on lows. It's at a higher resolution. It has higher settings, and it's running at lower watts. So this should clear up some confusion here about people who are thinking, how much of an improvement this is over, the ROG Ally X, over the Legion Go 1, the Legion Go 2. I also have a Legion Go 2 with the Z2E, which is only 10% faster than you see in the bottom right-hand corner. This Super V crushes them both. Crushes them both. This is a competitor to the Ryzen AI Max 395. This is not a competitor for the Z1E, just so you know. So if you're looking for something to compete with the Super V here, it's not going to be a handheld other than maybe something like the Apex or, the Super X tablet. This is a truly Halo performer. Okay, conclusion times, pretty straightforward. We'll go over the negatives. Well, it's not going to be a negative, but everyone's a little bit different. It does have a glossy screen, so that can be a negative for some people. Glossy screens can be annoying at times. It is possible to be annoying. You will get reflections. You're probably seeing the reflection of my light there. It's not a natural scenario where I have this lined up into the camera. One of the nice things about it is it's adjustable. So if you're looking at it and there's a light shining on it, you just adjust it and then the light go away. But it's a glossy screen, so you're gonna have to deal with that. So that's probably the only negative, to be honest. It is pretty expensive, but everything is really expensive. This is actually one of the cheapest ways to get into Panther Lake right now, legitimately. It's funny because, one of the critiques of some brand, like these type, more boutique brands, really premium, but they don't push mass volumes and that kind of stuff, is in the past was, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're not anymore. So now you get the boutique product at the same price or even cheaper. So it's just becoming more interesting. So that's actually a positive, I guess. I just turned that into a positive. I guess that's it, really. What other negatives could there be? The fans can be a little noisier than a big laptop under full load and full watt, but you don't need full watt. You don't need 65 watts really under any scenario. And as soon as you drop that down, the noise level just falls right off. So the only real critique, I guess I'd say, and this is not for everybody, but everyone's different. Some people would prefer a laptop, right? The laptop style setup where the weight is actually on the laptop here rather than on the tablet over here with this stand. That's going to depend on the person, right? Do you want the weight to be back here or do you want the weight to be up here? It just depends how you're using it. It's not a negative because it's just niche. It just depends on what you want. I'm a big laptop user and I have no problems with this. So that says a lot, to be honest, because I use laptops all the time in all different environments. Some people are not laptop users at all. They much prefer a tablet. So this would be a heaven, this would be a godsend for them because all of a sudden they have the tablet that they want with the performance that is way beyond the traditional tablet. So that's very impressive. So now we'll get into the hard positives. Hard positives here. Actually, surprisingly, the keyboard is quite good for a tablet. Very good. Trackpad, very good for a tablet. Again, not going to beat out the best laptop keyboards, but it's a tablet. It feels robust. The hinge is robust. Speakers are good for a tablet, right? Again, they're not the best speakers in the world. They're not going to beat out a big MacBook Pro 16-inch, but it's a tiny little tablet. The audio is, the acoustics of it are good. It's not too bad under full load, but the nice thing about the Intel chip is it's so efficient you can decrease the watts, really not lose any real world performance, especially in gaming. It almost, in many cases, does nothing when you decrease the watts. And so as a result, the fans get much quieter. It does have very good expansion. You have the USB-A to USB-C on this side over here, on this, and HDMI for out. And then on this side over here, you do have access to the micro SD card, traditional micro SD card for like slower stuff or just bulk storage, and the mini SSD, which is just a fantastic product there. Obviously, so that's awesome as well. Very easy to expand this thing. Of course, you can open it up and put it in NVMe if you want to increase the internal storage, but storage is kind of expensive right now, so it's nice that you have these external options there. The chassis is very robust. It feels nice and like firm. It's not going to bounce around. The actual product feels really nice, incredibly premium. Obviously, the screen is crazy. 120 hertz VRR enabled OLED screen with 100% DCI-P3 and good brightness. I mean, it makes sense. It's a tablet, like it is a screen with a computer built into it, so you'd hope so. And it just charges off USB-C. You don't need access to a DC type charger to get full power out of this thing. You can just get yourself like a little. You can use the one that comes with it, a little travel case, or you can get yourself just whatever, like a little generic. This is JSOX or whatever. This is like a generic Amazon tier charge that you can probably get for 20 bucks or something like that, 30 bucks, and slap that in, all of a sudden you're going, this thing weighs nothing. It weighs nothing, right? So you get incredibly light carry to take with you. Most importantly, the performance. The performance is incredible. B390 is everything. It's more than I thought it was going to be. Because I started adopting ARC when it first came out, like ARC A770. I was I was on the front lines. That's how my channel started. And it was incredible and awesome, but there was a lot of quirks back then. Like the hardware was weird, the drivers were crap. And I was seeing the hardware literally leapfrog, like sometimes within a week, which was super impressive. But when it came down to it, day one, A770 was kind of a mess, obviously. We are so far beyond that here. Like B390, when we got the 140V, like the Core Ultra Series 2, even this Core Ultra Series 1, I was like, man, that's a big improvement on the iGPU going from the XE crap. I was like, that's a really big improvement going to Core Ultra 1, but it wasn't that efficient, but it was a huge performance boost. Then also I went to Core Ultra 2, which is the Lunar Lake stuff, like you can get in the little handhelds and that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, now we're cooking. Now we're actually rivaling AMD. Whether one's better or not was not relevant. They were just very, very close. Now all of a sudden we've went one whole leapfrog forward. AMD has their AMD 8060S, which is still the best iGPU, true iGPU. Mac might be faster, doesn't count because it's compatible with anything. So it's still the true best like gaming iGPU. And so Intel came out and they were like, okay, we could probably compete with that with raw performance, but then what's the point, right? Yeah, okay, we'll get that exact amount. Why don't we be 10% slower at max performance? That sounds okay, not great, but let's do it at half the watts. That's already very interesting on a handheld or a tablet or anything like that. You're like, okay, well now you're gonna use half the watts to get like only a slight performance decrease? Sign me up. Right? It's still incredible performance. We're still getting dedicated graphics performance. And then the next thing is they said, you know what? How about we make it so that when you keep decreasing the watts, it doesn't have a linear drop-off. AMD, you decrease the watts and it has a linear drop-off eventually, and actually tanks when you get too low, and your performance just becomes garbage. You can do a lot. I have the Apex. I've had the Super X. I've been playing. I have a mini PC that has a professional workstation mini PC that has AMD 395. So I'm not saying it's bad, it's just it's not that efficient at low watts. It starts to really implode, right? Obviously, it has a lot of cores going on in that thing. This one here doesn't have that problem. As you decrease the watts, it actually has a non-linear decrease. It has a slow slope, so the watts are going down, but your performance comes down slower. All the way down to like 15 watts, it's still performant, right? You're still able to do 1080p or 1200p AAA gaming with respectable settings, even at 15 watts. Maybe you need a little scaling, but it works. And I'm talking like 60 FPS. I'm not talking about 30. I'm talking about 60 FPS. Bump that up to 20, 25, and all of a sudden you're getting like crazy performance. So that's the review. Yeah, the Super V is everything it's supposed to be. It's incredible, and the Panther is everything it's supposed to be. So check it out. I don't know how you would check it out without just buying it, but I can tell you, rest assured, this product is incredible. And OneX as a brand is they have good stuff. They have good software suites, and they have good support, community support, all that kind of stuff. So check it out. That's the Super V. It's dope.